Born on the 17th of July, 1957. That is 1957. You understand me? He is a Jamaican singer, drummer, and trust me, also a record producer. Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Washington is 65 years young. He is still strong, still going through, and he is still on the road.
Easy.
I don't know what exactly is keeping him strong, but let's go on the line and talk to the legendary Glen Washington. Glen, how are you doing?
Easy.
Happy radio. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Much love, maximum respect. To the legend himself, King Lagazee.
Yes, I, Glen.
Bless and love to you.
We give thanks.
Bless.
Yeah, man, we give thanks. How is the vibe like at your end?
Vibe is right, man. The vibe is good. The mood is feeling mellow, you know.
Yeah,
as long
man.
as I have music, I have everything.
Say,
You know?
say.
Yes, yes.
We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. So, you are 65 years young now, and you're still touring.
Still going strong.
And still, what exactly is keeping you, Glen?
It's just love, music, you know, that and I have a strong woman by my side, you know, keeping the thing, you know, the vibe, you know. We go up the hill and down the hill, but we still stay firm and strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was talking to wifey Jackie, and she was like, yo, Lagazee, you know, I have to do the laundry. I'm preparing food at the same time, but you don't know, Glen is Mr. Boy, mama.
Easy.
Look like mama busy for daddy.
The African woman is so strong.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so Glen Washington is in two phases. We have the Glen Washington, the artist, and also Glen Washington, the drummer. Now,
Yep.
let's start it in terms of who is Glen Washington and how was your growing up like in Jamaica?
Well, growing up in Jamaica, it was a lot of fun, and I love music as a youth man coming up. I started out going to, you know, some little youth. When you're young, you grow up with your parents and you learn different things. I grew up with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually one of my strong points because she encouraged me in different things.
Mm-hmm.
So she realized that pardon me. She realized that I like music, and then, you know, she was the person that would tell me, go ahead, son, go and do it. I know you can.
Mm-hmm.
Encouragement, and back home they say encouragement, sweet labor. So she was that one. And as a youth coming up, my friends, they saw that music in me, and they would encourage me, like try to push me to get me to enter into different talent competitions and stuff like that. So one time I entered into a talent competition, and the bass player took me aside. The bass player with the band, the Names and Faces band, took me aside and told me, you know, if you write your own song, if you write your own song, you get more points. And I was like, oh, so that's how it is. And I started writing my own songs from them time till this time, you know. And it paid off real good. I met Joseph Hill later on. I met Joseph Hill from Culture, the late Joseph Hill.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was the drummer of this band that I was singing with a band called C35 Incorporated. And
You mean Joseph Hill of Culture was a drummer by then?
yes, he was a drummer.
All right.
He's the one that he's the one that taught me how to play the drums.
Wow.
So what happened was in every little band, there's always that little the busybody person. And as soon as the drummer get up, this person go over there and sit on the drum and try to fool around. That wasn't me. And then he asked me, he said, I see you like drums. Do you want to learn? And I said, yeah, man, I would love to play. And he taught me how to play the drums, not knowing that he was actually preparing me because he was expecting to leave and go farm his group culture. So we started to teach me different rudiments and from time to time, and every time he would get up off the drum, I would go and fool around with it until one time now, when he started moving around doing this thing, he had to leave from where we lived to go to another town. This was when he was putting culture together. He left. He was a drummer. He left, and we had a whole bunch of gigs, and there was no time to find another drummer. So I had to actually learn how to sing and play the drums. So I ended up being the singing drummer for a long time.
Wow.
While he went to farm culture. Then he came back and got me. Took me to another band. A band called Stepping Stones. And while playing with Stepping Stones with some guys from Spanish Town, Clinton Rowe, Larkin Shaw, Merrick Dyer, and some other guys, he got this contract to do an album with a record company from New Jersey called April Records. So we ended up playing on Culture's first album, Africa Stands Alone. Check it out. Check out the credit. I'm the drummer that played all of them songs.
Wow.
Yeah. Africa Stands Alone.
Legend style.
Zing, Asaase Radio.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And then after that, I started moving around from band to band till I ended up in Kingston with a group called did a lot of movements with a whole bunch of different bands. To make a long story short, I ended up with a group called Happiness Unlimited, and in Ocho Jamaica, and then while playing with Happiness Unlimited, I met Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder came to Jamaica to on vacation, and then he heard us playing, and he liked what he heard, so he decided to take us back to the United States. And so I ended up in America.
Wow!
Right, Stevie Wonder took me back to America with the group called Happiness Unlimited. So after that, now, while in America, I'm trying to make it as short as I can because it's a long story. Yeah. While in America, I was living up in New York, and a friend of mine, this man has a sound system called Downbeat. I don't know if you ever hear about Downbeat.
Downbeat the Ruler, Tony Screw.
Yeah, Tony Screw.
Yeah.
You know, you got your thing together, man.
Easy.
So I met Tony Screw, and Tony Screw said, I recorded a song called Feel the Vibe. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Na, na, na. I wrote that song, recorded it, and tried my hand at being a producer. And Tony Screw liked the song. This guy called Bobby Channel One, who was a disc jockey on the radio. He said to me, why don't you give me a couple copies and let me play it on the radio and see how people react to it? And I did, and then people start requesting it. They want to hear it all the time. So Tony Screw liked the song and said, I want a dub off of it from a sound, but you can't do it at just any studio. I want to take it to the source. So I was wondering, what is he talking about, the source? So I finally realized that it was Studio One, New York offices, Studio One on Fulton Street in New York, in Brooklyn. So he took me to Fulton Street, and when I got there, I saw this thing. I saw this. This thing looked familiar. Then I went inside and started recording. Start recording the dubs. And then guess who walked out? The late great Clement Coxton Dunn.
Wow.
music. He took me to a place called Music City and said, "This look for me." I'm used to hearing that name. So, Music City in New York. I met Clement Dad in New York.
Wow.
And then after I finished recording the dubs, Mr. Dad came out and said to me, well, he called everybody Jackson. You know, that's his nickname for people in the music. He said, "Jackson, you sound good, you know, you have a lot of belly." I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about, but
Easy.
he was referring to the way I sounded.
Okay.
So yeah. So after talking to me, I mean, we got together and start, you know, having a rapport together. He said, "Jackson, have a little tat with me now." So I'm like, "What the hell is a little tat?" He went for his rum bottle and came back. I said, "Oh, that's a little tat."
Yeah.
We had a drink together, and he started saying to me, "Jackson, how would you feel about putting some of your lyrics on some of my gems?" And I said, "Sir D," that we call him Sir D. I said, "Sir D, trust me, ever since I was a kid, I've always been singing on Studio One beats." And he said, "Oh." So from then on, the first song I recorded for him was a song called "Love Knows No Shame" on the Guidance Star rhythm. And then I started going to visit him. And every time I go to visit him, we would be recording 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 songs for the day. And then one day he came up and said, "Jackson, we have a lot of songs." The first one came out on a 7-inch single, and "Love Knows No Shame." He came to me and said, "Jackson, it's a whole bunch that the thing I sell like hot bread, you know."
Wow.
Yeah, man, that Tony Screw was hard. He said he never heard Mr. Dad tell no artist or tell no man his business like that. When tell me that the thing selling like hot bread, we have to go back to the press.
All right.
So but it was happening like that, and I have maximum respect for that man for doing what he did.
All right.
And believing in me to the point where we recorded an album called Brother to Brother, put it out. And from then it was history. Everybody wanted a song with Glen Washington. People even songs that I recorded before that didn't come out on the street. The place started getting flooded with Glen Washington songs.
Wow. Now I would like to find out. So it means that the first sound you recorded dub plate for was Downbeat, right?
Downbeat the Ruler, yeah.
That was the first time recording a dub plate.
Yes, actually, it was the first time.
In which year was that?
That was 19. The plate was 1986.
Wow, 1986.
Yes,
I was a little boy by then.
Lagazee say he was a little boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little youth by then, you know what I mean? I didn't know what even doublet was and all that kind of thing. You know.
But they grew up regal and royal. Love that.
Definitely. Exactly 14 minutes going into the R2 here on Asaase Radio. We live in Accra on 99.5. We're live in Kumasi 98.5. We're live in Cape Coast 100.3, and we're live in Tamale 99.7.
Big up Asaase Radio. All of Africa. Big up on ourselves.
Yeah, man. So one, you said you live with your grandmom, the grandmom, you know, grow you up and all that kind of thing. What type of grandma was she? Was she the street type? Was it the church type that will pull you early hours in the morning strict. That, you know, let's go to church and all that?
Yes, very strict. She was the queen though. That African queen kind of thing, like she no nonsense type of thing. Yeah, and we grew up with much respecting our elders. And that's how we grew up. We have that. And I really give God thanks for having that kind of, that kind of liberty as a youth man coming up.
All right. So in your time there, which were some of the artists you used to par with and all that in terms of recording, drumming and all that? Which were some of the artists?
I have traveled with, matter of fact, when I moved to America, after doing my stint around with Happiness Unlimited, around Stevie Wonder, I ended up traveling with an artist called Leroy Sibbles.
Leroy Sibbles.
After the Eptones, Leroy Sibbles, because he had moved to Toronto. And he came to Detroit one time to do a show, and that's where I was living in Detroit. And he heard me, saw me performing with a group called the Samaritans. And he said, "Oh, okay, we have good drummers over here. Why don't you come up to Toronto sometime and work with me?" And I took him at his word. I went up to Toronto, and next thing I know, I ended up with being the drummer with a band, a backing band called the Hit Squad. Every artist that came to town, we were the backing band, from Bujo Bantan, Youth Daddy Uri to Lieutenant Stitchy, Sanchez, all of them, Trilla U, everybody that came to town. Tony Rebel was the big star at the time. Tony Rebel was the big star, and Bujo Bantan. I knew Lady Saw from before she was named Lady Saw, Little Marianne. She came through. She wasn't even an artist then, but she came through, and my band was always the band that played for everybody. I played for Barry Salmon before too.
Wow.
In Toronto.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was the drummer. And you name them, Ken Boone, all of them. The last artist I was the drummer for with a band called Calabash was the late Gregory Isaac. As a matter of fact, he was one of the encouraging voice that told me, you know what? I don't think you should be sitting behind the drums. I think you should be out front singing.
Wow.
One time we went to Belize to do a show, and at the time I was recording with Studio One, but I was still playing drums, traveling and playing drums. And we were listening to a cassette with some of my music in the bus that we were riding in, and then Gregory Isaac said to me, "Glen, is that you?" I would say, "Yeah, man, I'm me, that man." He said, "I think I'm gonna be the opener for you." But yeah, it did happen in real life. It happened twice in Jamaica and one time in Trinidad.
That Gregory Isaac had to open for you to come and play? He
was the opening act for me. And there's a lot of people that I used to play for that became the opening act. They had to go on stage before me. Which I give you thanks for the blessings still,
All right, so I heard you saying you played for Barry Salmon. Here's the case where I've heard countless of time people saying that Glen sound like Barry Salmon and trying to compare you to Barry's. How if you hear such comment, how do you feel about it?
You know what? I take it as a compliment because I really love Barry Salmon singing voice. I like the way he sound. But actually, I've sounded like that since 1973 because that's how long I've been recording. As a youth man coming up, my first song I did a song called Susie, was it my talent competition hit song. And my first hit song was a song called Rockers and No Crackers, Rockers I heavy music on ya, for Joe Gibbs record. My first big hit. But you got it right there. Boy, Lagazee, them body to the
rockers, I know crackers, rockers,
Sing Asaase Radio.
Nah, man.
Cities and country towns.
Easy.
It's everywhere.
Sing Asaase Radio.
Rockers and the Crackers.
Easy.
By the legendary Glen Washington. Wow. So this was the song that gave you the break.
Yeah. Well, but you know what? Back in them times, you got some producers and that was like actually not really honest, you know. They wouldn't tell the artist what was really going on. They record you, and now as a youth man, I wasn't paying attention to that. All I wanted to do was to record and hear myself on the radio. You know, we wasn't paying attention to different rudiments to publishing and royalties and stuff like that. You just want to hear yourself on the radio, so you go on record. But later on, I go learn about the business part of it. The business part is a big part of it, very big part of it.
Yeah. So at first, you wanted to just record, to be heard on the radio and all that. But now you're taking the business side very serious.
Seriously, have to.
This is what I'm talking about, because a lot of artists don't really take care of the business aspect. And at the end of the day, I've seen a lot of artists having problems with record labels in terms of that.
True. Even right now,